Hi, Fems. Happy Tuesday. I hope you all are doing well. I'm super excited today to have Dr. Laura with us in the classroom. Today, she's going to talk to us about how to spring clean our health. It's our theme for the month of April. We've done how to spring clean your finances, how to spring clean your business, and now, of course, how to spring clean your health. When you feel healthier and when you are more connected to your wellness, I truly believe that you generate more money, more revenue. You are in a happier state as well. It just flows a lot better. Dr. Laura, anything that you want to share? And by the way, I love Dr. Laura. I follow her on Instagram. I've had her on my IG, my personal one. She's a teacher often at FemCity, one of our global members. So I absolutely love her. I think everyone should follow her on Instagram. But anything you want to add, Dr. Laura, to that?
Oh, thank you so much. No, I do want to add, I love this spring cleaning series. It's been so fun watching all of everything that's going on every week. So we'll definitely have to make that a yearly repeat theme for this time of year.
Awesome. All right, so let's dive in. What are, at the end of the day, families just want to know, how
Yeah.
do I spring clean my health? So what are some of the most proven ways that you advise your clients, your patients on spring cleaning their health, again, so that they can expand and live life more in balance and perhaps lead to more business growth as well?
Yeah, I actually love this time of year, spring, to actually do the health resets and refreshes that so many people try and do in January. Anyone who knows me knows that I cannot stand the January New Year's rush to like suddenly get healthy. And the reason for that is I find most people by this time of year, and this is kind of the first prompt I give people when they're looking to clean things up, is what did you do with those January goals? Are you really still going on them, or did they kind of fizzle out by February, maybe early March? I think it's something like 80%, if not more, fail. So I actually think starting to shift when we look at and evaluate what we're doing for our health, how we're supporting ourselves, what we want to change about that, I actually think like energetically, spring is a much better time for that. Most of us, especially those of us who maybe live in colder climates, are starting to come out of winter, starting to get outside more. We want to move, we want to be in the sun. So I actually think this is the perfect time to sit down, take a step back, and do an audit of what are you doing for your health right now? If your January resolutions failed, forget about it. They weren't the right time. They weren't the right resolution for you then. You have a chance now to really create something more sustainable and really thinking about much in the same way that you would kind of look at your business plan, your finances, anything else. Well, am I keeping track of all of these things that I wanted to do for my health? Am I moving my body? Am I eating food that makes me feel good? Am I creating rituals and routines that set me up for success, even if that's carving away a little time in the morning or the evening, or blocking times in your calendar for your workouts, whatever that might look like. But my first favorite way to share it is literally doing a health audit. This is like the best time of year for it.
I love that. And I love that you share the percentage as well, because I think it's going to allow some of our friends to give themselves grace and forgiveness, because you're so right. It's always January. Like, why do you have to do everything like January 1st? Like, it has to be perfect January 1st. And you have to, and by this point, so many have fallen or not kept up to what they wanted to achieve. So I love that you share that percentage, because if you're out there and you feel like, yeah, that was me, you're not alone. There's so many. I mean, it's 80% is a lot. And I love that you shared health audit, like just reviewing to see like what are the areas that you can tweak, edit, so that you can get more connected to your wellness.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes we make it a little more complicated than it has to be. We feel like we need the perfect diet and the perfect workout plan and the perfect supplement regimen to start taking action, but you don't, right? You really just need to start doing one thing. But if you don't take the time to sit back and really carve out a little time to think about and be honest with yourself about your routines, it's really difficult to come up with an action plan, because sometimes we're so caught up in the moment, in the day-to-day busyness of our world and our business, that we assume that if everything isn't perfect, that the whole day is a waste and whatever, I'll just dive into my carton of ice cream at 10 o'clock and guilt myself about it in the morning, which is like the worst thing we can do for our health, is guilt ourselves about things. So a moment of pause to audit and then create your action plan.
Love it. So Delilah, who's our FemCity Brownsville president, so true. I feel like I already run out of steam from my January motivation. Thanks, Dr. Laura. Thanks, Delilah, for hopping on with your comment. All right. So and then so the first tip is a health audit, just being aware. The second, I don't know if it was a second tip, but I wrote it down as a tip. Start just one thing. I love that you mentioned that, like, because sometimes we're so overwhelmed. We're like, oh my gosh, I fell off so much. I'm just going to give up. Like, just starting with one thing will help you to get back on track or on track with your wellness.
Absolutely. And just to expand on that second point a little bit, you can also look at it in terms of categories. And by that, I mean, if you don't know where to start with that one action step, pick a major health pillar. Maybe it's your sleep. Maybe it's your nutrition. Maybe it's managing stress. And just take one action step for that specific category and keep doing it until you feel more confident in your sleep routine or in your nutrition routine or how you're managing stress. Sometimes when we try and jump around too much, we don't feel like we're moving forward at all. So pausing on one at a time and just building on those, that's what creates the more sustainable routines.
Yeah.
That's what helps you not feel like you're running out of steam because you're not trying to do too many random assorted things at once. There's kind of a method and there's some consistency and daily habit formation building up there.
I love that. The sleep one is a big one. I have to say, like, I thought I was sleeping well, but I really wasn't. Like when I started looking at like my Apple Watch or my Oura Ring and like looking at like, I was getting to bed really late. So that changed. Now I'm a huge fan of sleeping, like huge. I'm like that. I don't know why it took me so long. When I was younger, I could stay up until whatever time. I used to watch The Tonight Show as a little child and be up like at 6 a.m. for school. So my sleep, like respect, I didn't have any. Had no idea until just recently, like, wow, sleep really does help with everything, especially stress.
I feel like I just saw a meme about that the other day where it was like going to bed early and naps, things that were punishment as a child are now like what we strive for as adults. And it like made me laugh.
Totally. Yeah. I was never like napping. I was like, that's for weak people. Like I'm not, or going to bed. Now my husband makes fun of me because I'm like, oh, it's 9:30. I'm off to bed. Like I turn off everything, silence my phone, 9:30, I am out sleeping. But I'm up at 6 o'clock. So I have to do that. But that was a huge one for me, just sleeping alone. Any other tips that you have for us?
I do. I have two more tips, actually. My first one is a little more nutrition related. And of course, understanding that everybody eats differently for so many reasons. But I am a big fan of also incorporating like Ayurvedic principles and seasonal eating into our routines, regardless of what your dietary preference is, whether you're low carb or vegetarian or paleo or anything else. But a lot of the times when we look at, okay, what vegetables, what fruits, what things are coming into season right now, energetically, we actually tend to feel a lot better when we gravitate towards those.
Oh,
So as we come into like springtime and early summer, we think of, oh my gosh, all the great things in the gardens, right? Like snap peas and fresh cherry tomatoes and berries and all those sorts of things versus our, our squashes and our root vegetables and things that thrive a little more in the fall and winter months. So you can also kind of lighten your plate just by looking at what is coming into season, what is feeling a little bit more fresh, a little more clean. I think of like lots of fresh vegetables and vinaigrettes and lean proteins and healthy fats versus in wintertime when we're drawn towards those like really warming foods, right? The soups and the stews and all of that. So you can also be shifting your gut microbiome and your nutrition as the seasons come to energetically feel a little lighter, a little more bounce in your step. And it's really simple for most people to just incorporate regardless of what your eating style is.
yeah. That gut health is also something I just started learning about. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Yeah, so that's new for me too. So definitely need to dive in. All right, what's your next one?
Yeah. And then my last one has to do, it's kind of a little bit related to the first ones, but it has to do with lists. When I think about health and especially health in relation to our business, I know a lot of us do this thing where we create lots of lists. And while I am a big fan of brain dumps, just to get thoughts out of your head, to get thoughts about health out of your head, thoughts of your business about your head, what I see a lot of women doing is shifting those brain dump lists into their to-do lists. So all of a sudden they have this giant piece of paper with, okay, every day for my health, I need to wake up early. I need to meditate. I need to get to the gym. I need to eat this. I need to, all of a sudden there's like 15 things to do every day, which kind of defeats the purpose of like being a little more present, a little more mindful. Same goes for your business, right? Like if you turn a business brain dump into a to-do list, you're always going to feel like you're behind versus can I figure out 2 or 3 things every day that are really going to move the needle forward the most? And when it comes to your health, that might look different for all of you, right? For some people, it may be pausing a little bit before they eat, before they respond. It might be focusing just on nutrition, making sure they're getting protein a couple times a day. But it kind of cuts down the overwhelm of, oh my gosh, I have to do all of these things to be healthy. Again, brain dump list is not your to-do list. All of the options for your health is not your health to-do list. So try not to do that to yourself, because I find that's really what trips most of us up when we're not sticking to a plan is we're trying to fit way too many things in a given day.
Yeah. I love that. So that's you, like, that's literally me. So I was trying to add, like 40% protein, 40 grams of protein every meal. I was trying to also stop eating at 2:00 so I could get my 8 to 16, whatever, fasting. And then I was doing so many things. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. So just going back and like, okay, I'm just going to do one at a time and not add more things to my plate. Because it gets to be so much. And I was like, it wasn't feeling right. It wasn't flowing at all. Anyway, I don't see any questions. I do see a lot of love. So I just want to mention this one from Manira. I love seasonal produce. Such a difference in flavor.
Agreed.
As a Miami person, like I'm so disconnected to like the seasons because we really don't have any here. Like we have mango season, so like mangoes around the corner. They're all like about to pop in our trees. So I guess for us, we even have those moments here in Miami. It's just not as robust as you would find in other parts of the world where they have the 4 seasons. But I love that. I'm actually going to try to do that as much as possible as well.
Yeah, love that.
All right, I had more questions for you. All right, so we talked about, you gave us your tips, and these are all, I was going to say, these are action steps that everyone can take on today. I mean, everything you mentioned right now, those are things that everyone can start doing today. Final advice that you have when it comes to spring cleaning our health and preparing for more balance, joy, and happiness?
Yeah, my final thoughts on that is like becoming the healthiest version of you, like achieving that level of health and performance. It's supposed to be a fun process. It's supposed to be a process where you embrace curiosity. You wonder, yeah, how good can I feel if I do these things? It's supposed to be doing things that show your body love and appreciation for it. And I really think that a little bit of, whether you're a meditator or a journaler or something like that, but a little bit of introspective time to make sure that how you're perceiving your health journey at whatever stage that is, does it feel fun and good and like delicious for you? Because if it feels hard and restrictive and like something you don't want to do and you're just counting down the days till it's over, I don't know how much of a health journey that is.
Yeah.
And it really sets you up for these cycles of feeling like you constantly need to set new plans, set new resolutions, things like that. So my last piece of advice would be, as you do this health audit, as you start to play around with different rituals, whether it's for your sleep or your gut health or something else, be open-minded, embrace curiosity, and see how you can bring fun into it a little bit more. I think that is what's going to help things stick, let alone all of the positive impacts it's going to have on your hormonal cascade, which is so important. So yeah, that's kind of the way I wish people would start to, we'll say, spring clean how they even view health this year.
Yeah, I love that. I'm a former personal trainer. I know you know that, and Pilates instructor. And I remember when I'd have clients that would come to me and say, oh my gosh, I have to run tomorrow. I hate running. I hate it. I'm like, what? Okay, so then why are you running? Like, there are so many other things you could do. You could do Zumba. You could do a dance class. You could go for a stroll. Like there's so many things. Not everyone enjoys running a triathlon. or a marathon or an Ironman or the Ragnar. I mean, that's not for everyone.
Right.
I think the people that do Ragnar, they really enjoy Ragnar. The people that do the triathlons, they really love it. So finding, even with the exercise component, like thinking of things that really bring you joy and love is a great place to start. You can dance your way into great health too. It doesn't have to be running on the pavement. So I love that you brought that in there, because it should be fun. It doesn't have to be painful.
Yeah, absolutely.
For those that want to stay connected to you, I know I already pitched your Instagram account because I love it so much. But what's the best way for our femmes to connect and learn more about you and the programs that you have?
Yeah, Instagram or Facebook is probably where I hang out the most, or you can check out my website, which is drlauradecesaris.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Laura, for all of your wisdom. And for those that are going to take some of these pieces of advice and start implementing them, let us know how they help you. We will see you back here next Tuesday. Mwah! Bye.
Thank you.